All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to No Final Bell, our pay-per-view special on All Out. As yes, we just watched it. I know it is, we were recording on a Tuesday. The pay-per-view did happen on Sunday. We were trying not to get as spoiled as possible, but unfortunately, things did happen. But we're kind of gonna roll through it as best as we can here and not really go too in depth with the details. Maybe some stuff more than others, but we are going to be starting off with the 0 hour before the main card. Well, so the 0 hour starts off with both of the mixed tag teams beating
Yes,
each other down.
Ty Mello and Sammy Guevara, the recently married couple,
hmm
versus Ortiz and Ruby Soho.
And in this match, it is to no surprise that Ty Mello and Sammy Guevara do retain their Triple A mixed tag team titles here. Um, I would think this is probably it between both of them competing, but who really knows? And it makes you wonder if there's going to be another mixed tag team that's going to compete against them for those tag team titles. But we got to the FTW title match. Hook does beat Cool Hand
The
Angela
cold-hearted,
Parker
handsome devil.
to retain the FTW Championship, and then Matt Menard beats down Hook after the match. What could this mean? I'm thinking that honestly, if I'm going to talk about anything about this little altercation afterwards, I think it means that Matt Menard is going to be the next one in line. Because they kind of both wanted to go after the FTW Championship. Well, so Angela Parker didn't get the opportunity, so Matt Menard I think is going to be the next one in line for the FTW Championship. Um, as far as when Hook is going to lose this championship, I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. I kind of
No.
like what they're doing with Hook. They're kind of making him the male version of like a Jay Cargill,
Well,
except
even
holding
just
a
in
champ.
general, too, they're pretty much building him up as, like, the well, I mean, he pretty much is the second generation of Taz anyways, because he's the son of Taz. But
Right.
even just in general, like, I really think that they're building him up to be, like, essentially, you know, and even then, it's like giving him the FDW title made the most sense.
But also, what I was gonna say is, could there be a tag team match in the future as Action Bronson helps out Hook? If anybody doesn't know who Action Bronson is, he's the one that sings Hook's theme song and also is a rapper and musician and all the other stuff. They're all producer,
Yeah.
rapper, um, did help Hook and beat through Angela Parker and Matt Menard out of the ring to help out Hook. It'd be nice. It'd be cool to see. I don't know if it's gonna just be something that happened at All Out and not happen at Dynamite or Rampage, but who knows? Maybe Tony Khan's got something in his power that he can strike a deal, like a 1 day contract type of deal with Action Bronson, and they have a tag team match against Cool Hand, Angela Parker, and Matt Menard. But who knows? So we get on to the All Atlantic Championship match. It was nice to see Kip Sabian as he debuted a brand new gimmick where it's underrated over it. I was telling Marty he kind of looks like a reject out of the Addams family, just the way that his attire looked and the way that he was. But if you did see the pay per view and you saw just the way how delusional of a man he is now with this new gimmick, the box apparently talking to him and he's talking to it, apparently trying to give him powers, but unfortunately Pac was too strong for Kip Sabian as he retains the All Atlantic Championship. Um, Tony tries to interview Pac, and Orange Cassidy comes out and Pac says no and says he isn't a wrestler and is a joke. And to get back in the back of line, thoughts on that one? Do you think that Orange Cassidy might be the next competitor for the All Atlantic Championship? Yes. The one note I will say is, of course, later tonight is going to be AEW and Buffalo. So we are going to be getting a six-man tag team match between Death Triangle and the Best Friends, which I do like. But is this going to lead into further storyline with Pac and Orange Cassidy going after the All Atlantic Championship?
Um, I mean, I mentioned it before to Jason outside of the podcast. I thought the whole premise of the All Atlantic Championship was it was supposed to be a championship that was meant to be for people that are born outside of the United States. But
And then this
I
is
mean,
where
honestly, though, if it leads to a match between Orange Cassidy and Pac for the title, then by all means, like,
right.
have it. But yeah, I thought the whole premise was for it to be like a championship that is defended like all around, just like in Canada, in like Europe,
Hmm.
Asia, um, Australia, like all
Right.
other different continents that are not North America, or even like,
Right. Well, I mean, and I also said to Marty too is like it's still a AEW championship, so it's still gonna end up being you know defended on the main shows. I hope that they do a little bit more with it than the TNT championship.
that would be nice.
But I would like to see the TNT championship have a little bit more value too. So who really knows? But as far as that, it would be nice to see Orange Cassidy compete for an actual championship. Even though in the past he has competed
Well,
for the
better
TNT
yet,
championship, but it would be nice to see him go after another championship.
it would be nice to see him actually win a title in
Yes, it would.
AEW. Like even if it's like the FTW title. I mean, as much as it wouldn't make a lot of sense, like at least it's a title that
Right.
Orange Cassidy can hold.
That would
You
be
know.
cool. So, moving forward, Eddie Kingston and Tomohiro Ishii. Um, two, what a
Oh my God.
slugfest. Man, just the amount of chops that both
Yeah.
men were giving to each other
Poor
was insane.
Ishii's like chest near his uh like shoulder,
Yeah,
it
his
like
pec.
pretty much popped a blood vessel in
Hmm.
there, and it started forming a blood blister. It was that's how
Oh yeah,
many chops Eddie Kingston was throwing at Ishii,
yeah, but both men
and
were
even
giving
just
chops
how
to each
hard,
other.
yeah, both men's chests were lit up red like Rudolph's nose.
Yeah, I know. But this time, Eddie Kingston gets the win against Tomohiro Ishii in a
Yes,
very back and forth,
they
high
are now
hitting
one and
contest to
one
finish
against
off the
each
Zero
other.
Hour.
I expect a rubber match between the two.
Yeah, I think they were talking
Where it
about
will
it.
happen, I don't know. I mean,
Who
the first
knows?
match happened in New Japan. The next match happened on at All Out. Who's to say it doesn't happen potentially at Wrestle Kingdom
Right.
in the Tokyo Dome? I'm just speaking hypothetically. I don't know. It could happen sooner at Full Gear. I'm not entirely sure.
Right. So
So,
we start off with the main card now. So this one was a very interesting one. It did have a lot of high spots. There was a crazy Canadian destroyer on the ladder to Andrade.
oh man,
Um,
that was
and then also the
brutal
frog
as
splash
well.
through the table. That was probably
Yeah,
two of the highest spots that I've seen in that match. But can we talk about Dante Martin and the craziness that he has unfolded and how strong Claudio Castagnoli really truly is? Because Andrade took some pretty bad bumps in that match. I'm hoping he's all right. I mean, but the thing I want to talk about here is the whole fact that we do know that Stokely Hathaway has been trying to
recruiting.
recruiting a bunch of people. I'm thinking that soon enough, this is going to be a new faction. I don't know if it's going to be like the Pinnacle or anything like a new Pinnacle or anything, but I think it's going to be led. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, MJF is back. He was the Joker. He was the one that was the devil that was in there.
Yeah,
But the one thing I want to talk about that I think that didn't make any sense is that Stokely Hathaway went up the ladder, took off the poker chip. MGF
and
with the
basically
devil
handed
mask,
it to.
went down, was handed a poker chip. We all know that MGF does it will now get a title match.
So now we know what happened with that. But initially, he did not take off the mask
Yes.
after he won the match. No, he revealed himself after the
The
main
world
event.
title match, yes. So I will say I think it's going to be a group that's going to be managed by Hathaway, but I think MGF will be somehow a leader in it because it is W. Morrissey, it is
The Gun Club.
MJF, Gun Club,
Lee
Ethan
Moriarty.
Page, and Lee Moriarty. It seems like a very interesting faction that's going to be brewing in AEW. Another faction that could go after the trios tag team titles too. So who
Yeah?
really knows? Um, but it would be nice, of course, we'll get to those whole situations with CM Punk and stuff like that. But it'd be nice with everything that's going on with that MGF very soon, and I mean it by very soon, could be the new AEW World Champion. Because I'm pretty sure Tony Khan and MGF struck a deal that, okay, you can stay in AEW, I'll pay you like, some of these former WWE guys, and I'm sure MJF's like, I'll only do it if you, can push me into the world title picture and make me the champion. So I'm pretty sure they struck a deal, and I think that it's going to be happening, especially now with everything that's come out, with everything that happened between both sides after the media scrum. It would not be shocking me if MGF, even in Buffalo somehow, that these two men face off for each other against each other, and then CM Punk, loses the title, drops it to MJF right then and there, and MJF is now your new world champion with a new feud that heads into full gear, which will be November 19th on a Saturday. But moving forward, um, what another highly great contest here.
Yeah.
Um, this had dream match and high expectations all around when these two teams were going to go after each other. I think it still would have been better if it was the best friends against, the elite, but they get Dark Order as well. Made sense with everything that, was going on with the elite and uh, Adam Hangman Page.
I mean, I figured that Hangman would be in the finals, like, as it was.
Mhm. From somebody that said,
But
"Oh,
how we
I'm not gonna
got
be
there is.
involved with the trios tag team tournament," to saying I'm going to be on the sidelines, to not really being with them at all, to somehow getting into the ring, with them and on Rampage, and then facing off at All Out, and of course, in you know losing faction. Yes, so the Elite beat the Dark Order to become the first ever AEW Trios Tag Team Champions. But is there dissension in the Dark Order after Hangman uses the lariat on John
The
Silver?
buckshot lariat.
I think so. There definitely looked like there was some dissension
Well,
brewing, even
essentially,
from when the bell rung.
well, especially considering Hangman is definitely like beside himself after basically costing his team the win for the trios titles. So,
Honestly, you know what? If it is truly like MGF that, does somehow beat CM Punk sometime soon, I would not be opposed to like Adam Hangman Page getting a shot at the world title. Or, there's a lot of other ones like Bryan Danielson could get a shot. Um, there's other names, of course John Moxley eventually getting another shot. We'll talk a little bit more into. I don't want to go into full death here, but yeah, I think there's going to be some dissension with Dark Order, and somehow will lead into him rejoining the Elite in some fashion. It would not shock me. Or, because we truly don't know what's going on with Adam Cole and everybody in that case. There, who knows? Maybe he joins up with Adam Cole, Bebe, and or
part of the undisputed elite.
maybe um maybe if like, what would honestly be cool is if
Roderick
Roderick
Strong.
Strong comes into AEW, joins up with Adam Hangman Page with his little group, the Undisputed Elite, and then Adam Hangman Page joins up with the Elite, and that like somehow they have like a feud for the trios tag team titles or something like that, or have faction against faction, four against four. That I could see, but um, who knows? So we get on to the TBS Championship match. It was a little um underwhelming in the match in itself. Nothing against Jade Cargill. I think she's good for what it is. She's been, 37-0 in over 2 years. Of course, she made her debut with Shaq against um,
Cody Rhodes
Cody
and Red
Rhodes.
Velvet.
Yes. So Jade Cargill has been on a hell of a run. She is the current TBS champion, 37-0. Faces off against Athena. We had high speculations that we thought Athena was going to beat Jade Cargill. She's the right one for it. And unfortunately, that was not the case as Jade Cargill beats Athena to retain the TBS championship and remain undefeated. It just makes you wonder, when is it going to be time for her to give up the title and take her first loss? I mean, I hate to say it, we've said it multiple different times. She doesn't absolutely have to still be the TBS champion. She has done enough to showcase that she can
Yeah.
be a dominant champion, that she can be, you know, apparently
Yeah, because
eventually the top of the women's division.
right, and even now, like your big question is who's left. I mean, you could have
I mean, I guess there's
potentially had it
technically
been.
Statlander and
I
stuff
was
like
gonna
that
say you
too.
could have had it be Statlander, but that's the thing too. Statlander, I believe, was initially supposed to be the one challenging um,
I think so too. I'm pretty
Thunder
sure.
Rosa at All Out had Statlander not gotten injured and had Thunder Rosa not gotten injured. So, you know.
Right. So congratulations to Jay Cargill, but eventually it's got to be time for Tony Khan to pull the trigger and be like, hey, you've had a great run, but I think we need to give the title to somebody else for a TBS championship. But that doesn't mean that you still couldn't go after the women's world championship.
Yeah.
So, so going forward, this was another hell of a match itself. But I still would have liked if they did this differently. You have FTR against the Motor City Machine Guns. So I think that would be a dream match to have an Impact itself. That would be awesome.
That would be a great
But you
match.
should have had a TNT title being
Yeah.
defended because Jay Lethal did ask for his rematch. He got it. When is that rematch going to happen, Wardlow? When are we going to get the TNT Championship rematch between you and Jay Lethal? It could have happened all out. It would have made a hell of a lot more sense instead of a trios tag team match just out of nowhere.
Something tells me it's going to happen tonight.
But it would be cool. Maybe on like Rampage or something like that
I
itself.
don't know. Either way, like, if you're going to have FTR and the Motor City Machine Guns and Impact, you gotta have the Machine Guns hold the Impact Tag Team titles and then have FTR challenge Motor City Machine Guns for the Impact Tag Team titles just to make it that much like more, you know,
Right.
because think about when Impact and AEW had their short little working relationship. Um, it saw Kenny Omega as the TNA champion, or you know, Impact co Impact TNA champion
Mm-hmm.
until Christian Cage took it from him.
Right.
So then you had um, Josh Alexander beat Christian for it, and then
Mm-hmm.
Moose uh, cashed in his call your shot. You know, Moose
Right.
called his shot, and it led to that. But for that little moment of time, we appreciated having an AEW wrestler
Oh, I know.
as the Impact champion.
So in this one, Wardlow and FTR face off against Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. So Wardlow and FTR actually do beat Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns, which I kind of figured that would have happened. And then after the match, Samoa Joe, who we have not seen
Yeah.
on AEW television or anywhere in a long, long time, who is currently the ROH television champion, it was a nice sight to see, comes back and throws Sanjay Dutt back into the ring. Then Finley, who is Dax Harwood's daughter, 8-year-old daughter, the one that,
Fight like
thought,
an 8-year-old girl.
yes, was the one that, got the pencil, broke it in half, and then they beat down Sanjay Dutt. She gets the pin on him. What a great moment for father and daughter there, I tell you, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this one's an interesting one. Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks face off against each other. This one I feel like it should have probably started off the night. It would have made a little bit more sense than just like here in like kind of like the middle. But they had a decent match. I mean, they were throwing some haymakers, but man, let me tell you something. That spine buster of Powerhouse Hobbs was a great one because that's what he won with. But was it the right move to have him beat Ricky Starks?
We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I think
That's
we'll
what
see.
I. That's what I
I,
said. We'll
I
see
don't
where
think
it
that I
goes.
don't think this rivalry's done yet, honestly, because the factory's still involved and
Yeah.
everything like that. So I don't think that this is truly over with yet. Um, Swerve and Our Glory and the Acclaimed. Now this was a hell of a tag team title match for a card that was mostly tag team matches, trios tag team matches and everything like that. Of course, we'll talk about very soon the Fatal 4-Way match, but for the AEW Interim Women's World Championship. But man, this was a banger of a match.
Yeah.
This was like probably like at least felt like it was going on for like a half hour, 40 minutes. It didn't. I mean, of course, it didn't feel like that to us, but like it's like in the sense that it's like, man, this match like was great. Went a long distance in itself. Um, there was definitely moments where the Acclaim, I think, should have won the tag team titles here, but Swerve and Our Glory here were actually the heels, and I'm quite shocked.
Yeah.
They were showing some heelish sides. Of course, um, we hope that Anthony Bowen's knees are hopefully up and going and
Yeah,
feeling
man.
100%
Because
because he
he's
was taking
having.
some. He slipped a couple different times off the
Well,
rope. His
not to mention
knee
he
didn't
hasn't
look like
had the best luck when it comes to his knees.
right.
So
No, he's definitely got some knee problems there. But yes, unfortunately, Swerve and Their Glory do beat the Acclaim to retain the team titles. But I think they earned the respect of the fans and everybody as they show respect to each other after the match, which I kind of figured that would happen. Now, the Interim Women's World Championship Fatal 4-Way match. What a hell of a match. There was definitely a lot of times where it could have been Jamie Hayter. It could have been Britt Baker. It could have been Hikaru Shida. No! We called it. We figured it would be her time.
it's
Whether it was going to be the interim women's world championship,
ladies and gentlemen, it's Tony time.
it's finally Tony time as she finally. I know it's the interim title and it's not the actual world title. It is finally her time to be a women's world championship in a major promotion.
Yeah.
WWE, you should have took notes. You should have made it happen earlier. Should have made it happen in itself because now
Well,
she's gone off to AEW and is doing bigger, better things. Which is sad that she comes in and she's already like that
well,
as a big star.
I look at it this
It
way.
makes you think that they should have done the same thing with Athena and Ruby Soho, but I
Well,
digress.
I look at it this way. Tony Storm at least won like the NXT UK title
Mm-hmm.
when she was in WWE.
Right.
But yeah, like Athena and Ruby Soho, like okay, yeah, you gave uh when she was Ember Moon, you gave her NXT Women's title, and then you made her one half of the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions with Shotzi Blackheart at the
Right,
time. It's like,
right.
but other than that, it's like, okay, but the entire time that she was on the main roster, you couldn't give her a run with the women's title, like either Raw or SmackDown.
But
Like,
yeah,
you
it's
know,
crazy. Now this one was an interesting one. So Christian Cage and Jungle Boy are set to face off against each other, and then Luchasaurus comes out. You thought, okay, he's gonna join up with Jungle Boy. No, he actually turns on Jungle Boy yet again and choke slams them onto the pyro thing, and there was some nasty
oh
lacerations
yeah,
on Jungle Boy's
he
back.
had a big old grill mark like right along his back.
But as weird as this, Christian Cage spears Jungle Boy, one, two, kick out. Then gives him the kill switch, 1, 2, 3, beats him in 20 seconds. It is crazy that Christian Cage buried Jungle Boy here. It does not look good for Jungle Boy, especially if he's going to be a singles competitor heading
Yeah,
on. I don't think this is done and over with between Christian Cage and Jungle Boy, but it's just I don't know if I like that you just had Christian Cage bury Jungle Boy in front of his mom and sister there. I don't know how I feel about that because it just makes him look weak and looks like he just can't get the big one as a singles competitor. That's
yeah.
what it seems like to me, but
I hope eventually it turns into Jungle Boy becoming a TBS champion, or not a TBS. I'm sorry, TNT champion.
so
That
yes,
would
we
be
get on
nice.
to the next match. Lionheart Chris Jericho against the American Dragon Bryan Danielson in the highly contested back and forth contest. They beat the living crap out of each other.
It was a showcase of technical wrestling.
Yes, it was. Get shit on Chris Jericho all you want, but he is one of the best wrestlers in all of professional
Yes,
wrestling. He's the greatest of all time for a reason. But yes, he surprisingly beats Bryan Danielson, and then the Jericho Appreciation Society come down to celebrate, except for Daniel Garcia. What does this mean for his loyalty? Um, we'll we'll get to that, but um, well, it means that, yeah, he's actually going to face off against Wheeler Yuta by himself with no
yes.
help of the Jericho Appreciation Society, because
He's gonna get a big hometown, a big
because
reaction.
Daniel Garcia did Jericho dirty, but Jericho's like, well, guess what? You do it to me, I do it back to you. You don't think that you need the Jericho Appreciation Society? Well, guess what? You're not going to get the Jericho Appreciation
Yeah,
Society to help
but
you out in this
no, I
match.
can tell you right now, Daniel Garcia is definitely gonna get a big hometown crowd reaction tonight in
Oh,
Buffalo.
I agree. He's definitely going to. And honestly, I'm just gonna say this now. I think he's going to actually beat Wheeler Yuta, somehow join up with the Black Bull Combat Club, and no longer be a part of the Jericho Appreciation Society. But who really knows? What better way to have him win? There always seems to be a home. Um, you know, maybe who knows? Daniel Garcia as a pure champion, that could be where it ends up getting defeated and is in Buffalo and he somehow does well there. I don't know. Or he somehow wins a big one in Buffalo in his hometown if they keep on coming back to Buffalo. Um, so heading on to the second to last match, Miro, Sting, and Darby beat the House of Black with the help of the Black Mist from Sting. This is, crazy what's going to happen there with Malachi Black getting misted by Sting. But, you know, there were some good moments in this match. There was, I mean, but honestly, we're going to go on to the main event as CM Punk faces off against Jon Moxley. This time, no, it was no 2 minute squash match, where Moxley squashes CM Punk and wins the AEW Championship. No, this one was a little bit longer and um, surprisingly, surprisingly, Moxley did not shed any blood. It was
Yeah,
only Punk himself. There was definitely a lot of moments where I thought Moxley was
Yeah,
going to
so
retain
so you mean to tell me that John Moxley can actually go
a
an
match
entire match
and
without
not bleed.
bleeding?
Oh, I know, yeah, I guess
Wow,
so.
shocker.
But yes, so CM Punk wins back the AEW Women World Heavyweight Championship in high fashion in his hometown of Chicago, Illinois. But after the match, it is
MJF reveals
shown
himself as the
MJF
Joker.
takes off the mask and he is now the Joker and he wants the World Heavyweight Championship. I don't know when exactly it's going to happen, but it's going to be happening sooner than later. MJF will face off again with CM Punk, but this time for the
The stakes are
AEW
higher.
World Heavyweight Championship. Is
Yeah,
this the time for MJF to finally get over the hump and become the World Heavyweight Champion?
I think so.
I think so. I think it's the
Especially,
best time to do it, um,
especially if
especially with
MJF
his
is
new gang and with the help of
well.
Stokely Hathaway.
Not to mention, especially if MJF is still potentially looking to leave AEW in 2024 when his contract expires.
I don't
So,
know. Maybe they found something out and struck a deal where he'll actually stay and not leave
I mean, I don't know.
AEW.
At this point, it's still early. It's still too early to tell. But I think it's safe to say
Now,
that, you know,
of course, we know a lot of the speculations with everything the media scrum. John CM Punk went off the rails with his comments after All Out,
yeah,
um, talking a lot of crap about his former of his actual coworkers. It
yeah,
was stated that apparently a bunch of people that were involved in the situation have been suspended. We do not know about CM Punk if he was suspended itself. Um, this is why I think that if I'm Tony Khan, the right thing I would do is have CM Punk and MGF face off against each other sooner than later
yeah,
and strip and then have Punk lose the title. I get it, he just won a title. You don't want that title to start like, jumping ship all over the place type of thing. But Tony Khan has to do the right thing here.
yeah,
I think you need to definitely suspend Punk, have him lose the title, and definitely suspend him. Yeah, you can still keep him in the company, but you need to do some legal actions with CM Punk.
yeah,
And
yeah,
if it ultimately means that he has to get released from AEW, then at least you knew that he did, what he was set out to do. And
right,
being there for over a year, being a two-time AEW World Heavyweight Champion, putting on some great matches when he
yeah.
was there. So,
Well, that's the thing too. Also, they AEW should have known what they were getting themselves into with Punk. Punk has always been outspoken, no matter where he goes, no matter like what the situation is. CM Punk has always been outspoken,
mm,
and you know this was just another case of Punk being outspoken. He spoke his mind about how he felt about certain things and how he felt about certain people,
hmm
and this is the result, and this is what we got.
right.
So, which led to a physical
Altercation
altercation
with
backstage
most
with
of the
the elite,
EVPs,
and
the Elite,
yeah,
with Colt Cabana, Hangman
well,
Adam
yeah,
Page,
he mentioned
Kenny Omega, even Axe Steel there throwing a chair,
Ace Steel.
Ace Steel's throwing a chair towards a bunch of eight.
Yeah,
I think he was very well one of the ones that got suspended
I
itself.
would hope.
Um, if not fired, who knows? We don't know about it. I don't think they're gonna release any details about it at all. Um, Whoever's really close don't want to specify any details or don't want to say anything. So I don't know. I'm very well expecting Tony Khan to come out on Dynamite and say something more about it. Um, or maybe somehow, he gets stripped of the title and then there's like a tournament to crown a new champion. I don't know what's exactly gonna happen. Of course, keep on watching for Dynamite and Rampage to see what could come in the near future. But as far as that, this concludes this pay-per-view special. Make sure to follow
Rather
us.
short one,
Yeah, a
but
little bit shorter than we usually do for it. We usually go over an hour for these, but we wanted to go a little bit more straight to the point with everything. But yes, on that note, you want to make sure to follow us on social media at Tinkle Sports. Of course, our channel is Tinkle Sports and Entertainment. This show is No Final Bell every Wednesday at 5. We have Out of Turn 4 every Tuesday at 5. And then, of course, Sunday Morning Tinkle every Sunday at 9 a.m. As we are back in full force with that until at least um, sometime next year. So, as always, everyone, thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.